On this shocking episode of Aging Gracefully, we take a look back on what many people consider a low point in the storied career of horror creator Wes Craven. And as we were beginning to sort of edge out of the 80s and we needed a fresh-faced, deranged killer to really wrap ourselves up in, the audience got this. And we were still 7 years away from the ringing landline that brought us Ghostface, but was Horace Pinker from 1989's shocker the answer? Let's go ahead and rewind this one to find out. So one consistent thing through this movie, other than me hitting myself with my remote several times in my head, were the nods to Wes's previous masterpiece, The Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, the opening is a perfect example because we see this figure sort of lurking behind in a warehouse or what we would find out is a TV repair shop. And if this dude was working at a TV repair shop in the 80s, you just knew he had to be jacked because TVs back then, those console TVs, had to weigh like 1,000 pounds. I mean, they were just massive, more wood than television screen. It was something else. And on these TVs that he's working on, that he's tinkering with a hunting knife, you see news flashes, news stories of a serial killer named the Maryville Slasher breaking into homes and killing families at knife point. Now, the protagonist of this movie is a young high school football player named Jonathan, played by the very talented Peter Berg. He's got a beautiful girlfriend named Allison, a hard-nosed football coach that's almost stereotypical to this point. And this guy, this coach, plays a very real role in this movie. And he's also got a buddy named Rhino, who, upon really studying it, looks like he's the dude that played the weirdo bad guy in noted dumpster fire, The Crow City of Angels.
Let's see how bad this batch of ours really is.
Jonathan and Allison are an adorable little couple. I mean, they own a waterbed together, for Christ's sakes, and they're so picture perfect, so sweet. They're strolling through one of those perfect 80s towns that I'm smitten with, storefronts and theaters with big marquees, scenic and safe. Everything just feels good there until, of course, they end up in front of his old childhood home with a TV repair van parked out front and his family being murdered on the inside. Storms in, sees what's going on, sees the guy doing this, and then he wakes up. So right away, nightmares and being able to use them become a part of this film. And realistically, it's just Wes Craven ripping off Wes Craven, so who really cares? But the kid wakes up and he gets a call that his family has in fact been murdered. Now, he's certain that the guy he saw doing it in his dream is the guy that's doing it in real life. And John's dad is a police lieutenant. Strangely enough, though, calls him Don, never calls him Dad. And we wind up learning that's because Don and his wife adopted Jonathan and the other two kids that were killed that night. And once you add that to the fact that Jonathan has some sort of a connection with this killer, I already knew where we were going with this shit. I already had it pegged right off the bat, way back then even. So the dad reluctantly follows Jonathan to the TV repair shop that he had seen in his dreams. And the shop is weird enough, but, cops die, Pinker gets away, and the news channel eventually reporting the story that they got this close to nabbing this serial killer based off the tips of a high school football star. I mean, they put Jonathan's face on the TV, they put his name on the TV, they do him absolutely no favors. So you just know this kid is the number one target at this point. And you also understand that because of this, it is inevitable, absolutely unavoidable, that the girlfriend is going to die. Amidst the crew of characters that are thus far painfully uninteresting, you just hate that. Because the girlfriend is somewhat interesting and she's somewhat easy on the eyes. You don't want this good relationship that we see to just go away in the middle of the movie. But sure enough, Pinker shows up, he waits until Jonathan is gone, and he brutally knifes this girl up, making a mess of their bathroom and writing a happy birthday message to Jonathan on the bathroom mirror in blood. Another dream sequence leads John to where Pinker is trying to kill another family, and after a chase in where this killer, who moves extremely well considering he's got a gnarly limp, and we'll talk more about that limp here momentarily, but this killer winds up being caught, convicted, sentenced to death by the electric chair with the quickness. It's never happened this fast in a film before, and after some really weird ritual in his cell with the TV where he asks the TV to give it to him and the TV replies, "You got it, baby," and something just sort of transfers into Pinker. We learn as he's sitting in the electric chair that Pinker is actually Jonathan's real dad, and the limp is from Jonathan shooting him in the knee, trying to protect his mother from Pinker as a child. Dude. Insert Forrest Whitaker face.
This guy is just pissing all over us. And we just smile and lick it up.
From this point on, the movie is about Pinker being able to jump from body to body through some sort of like an electrical current. And I will say this, because we got to find the positives where we can. Having that limp of his transfer over with each new body he inhabits was a really cool touch, because it lets us know where he is. And then it's interesting to see these people utilizing that movement, because there's like, for example, there's a little girl who winds up getting taken over by Pinker, and she's spitting and cussing and dragging her foot, just this adorable little kid inhabited by this absolute monster. Thought it was a cool touch, not enough to save this one for me, but I thought it was pretty neat nonetheless. And dead as she may be though, and as much as I didn't want her to leave us, Allison does make several appearances throughout the film to help guide Jonathan through his battles with Pinker, and it's just all super goofy. It just, like, Jonathan gives her a heart necklace at the beginning of this movie to tell her he loves her, and it's very sweet, and it's some trinket that a young guy gives a young girl when they're just starting to date and they're starting to fall for one another. I loved it. It's cute little whatever. Nice addition to a horror film, but this necklace is somehow powerful enough to pull him out of whatever body he happens to jump into. Goofiest shit I've ever heard of. On top of that, she uses like a beam of light from her chest to knock Pinker into the next room during a pivotal battle scene at the very end of this movie. I mean, wow. The chase through the TV sets was pretty good, and they go through all this different TV programming. It was fun, at least. But God, I wanted one of them, when they were diving in and out of TVs, I just wanted one of them to brain themselves on a TV set. Even Jonathan. I wanted something to happen. And if that wasn't all enough, Jonathan has control of Pinker at one point with use of a remote control. So this deranged killer that we're all supposed to be fearing, towards the very end, the very most vital part of a movie, is jumping up and down on a little girl's bed because Jonathan is making him. I mean, that really is happening in this film. We did get Deputy Rick Cologne from Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. He's here as Pastore, who's one of the cops who gets taken over by Pinker at first. But aside from that, guys, this one kind of the dog. So normally at this stage of the rewind, we would go over what this movie killed and what killed this movie, meaning, of course, what worked well for it and what made it go off the rails. We won't be doing that today. We just won't be getting into all that. This movie's a 3 out of 10. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and my life hadn't really suffered because of it. I was reminded why I stayed away from it. I originally saw it because Wes Craven's name was attached to it, and he never let me down. I mean, I loved everything Wes Craven did. Vampire in Brooklyn is another story. But the only thing that brought any emotion out of me was Allison dying. And it was only because I was a kid who had a crush on everything. Any pretty girl in any film, I somehow wanted to see them through the movie. I wanted to transport into the movie and make sure they got out safely. And Allison was really all we had in this film to really look after or care about. Because even though Jonathan's a good character and the actor playing Jonathan is a good character, just couldn't care less. You know, it's almost indescribable and hard to reconcile that this came from the guy that gave us Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, it's just that much of a head scratcher. And People Under the Stairs, I mean, come on, this dude was banger after banger. But everybody has an off day. We say it all the time. You can't all be first round draft choices. This one was one better left on the cutting room floor. But let me know what you thought of Shocker. I would love to hear from somebody that likes this movie. I would love to have a conversation, not a debate. I respect your opinion. If you dig this movie, cool, that's on you. It's just not for me. So if you dig it, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of this movie, about what we should maybe look at next. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, do all the things that one would do to support an elderly person like myself trying to talk about some good 80s stuff. This is Aging Gracefully. I'm Matthew Essex. I'll see you guys on the other side. Not in the television set. We don't do that. We don't do that here.